Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Basically this is the AWS Zero to Master series and we are focusing on the AWS cloud services and this playlist. So if you can remember in the previous session, we have been discussed more about the load balancer on the AWS perspective. Along with that, we have discussed what are the type of load balancer available on the AWS and how it will be help us to help us to send the traffic to that concern concern backend resources. So followed by in the today's session, we are going to discuss about more on this AWS application load balancer. This is the one of the type of load balancer providing by AWS. So we will see it on that load balancer along with the target group and listener role and lot more we will discuss. So basically this session I'm just planning to give you that multiple session since we can't cover it all the configuration in a single session. So be patient. I'm sure in the end of the session you should be get more idea about that application load balancer. So let us start. So basically, application load balancer, as I mentioned, this is one of the type of load balancer providing by AWS. So it will be support on the layer 7 protocol. So that means that if you are going to be configure our application with the HTTP and the HTTPS protocol, that time application load balancer will be help us to work it on that front end load balancer level. So like when we are going to create a load balancer on the AWS, we need to be create a listener. So listener means nothing but we can create, we can define that the protocol, which protocol should be configured on that load balancer level. So based on the protocol, we can like define the target groups on the backend. So basically AWS will be validate that if you are connecting with the AT port on the AWS load balancer, that will be validate the listener group. If it is the AT put configured, that will be forward the traffic to the concerned backend resources. So basically that listener role mean nothing but we can configure as a port based or header or static URL. And apart from that, we can configure the multiple listener role also. For example, if we have a multiple target groups, we can configure with the one target group at the HTTP port and one target group at the HTTPS port, and the one we can configure at the static that fix the URL. That is the way we can configure with a different target group. So target group means if you can think maybe what is the target group? So target group means nothing but it's a group of backend resources such as EC2 instance container or IP based resources. So basically, like if you have been worked on that any kind of load balancer, you should be aware of that routing algorithm. This will be basically help us to forward the traffic to the concern like resources such as EC2 on the container on the target group level. So basically, by default, we can go with the round robin so that the traffic will be split up to that each resources. Apart from that, there are multiple algorithm. We can see it on the documentation. So we will see it on that console how we can configure the like routing algorithm. But basically, we can configure the routing algorithm on the target group level. So, and one more point, when we are going to configure the AWS load balancer, we should be configured with at least two subnet in a different AC so that our load balancer will be in that very highly available. And if anything happen on that zone one, still we can access our load balancer with the zones two. This is the way we can configure our load balancer with the high availability. So apart from that, we can configure the security group for the front end entry point of the AWS load balancer. It will be validate and it will be forward the traffic to that load balancer. Basically, this is the firewall, basic firewall. We are going to use it for that load balancer. So we will take on one example how the load balancer generally work it on the AWS and other environment. So, like you can see, there are one of the AWS side. We will take an example. This is the load balancer we have been configured. Basically, we will be get it one of the endpoint IP that is called the front end IP. On the back end, what we are going to do, we are going to be configure some kind of target group. So inside the target group, if you can see, there are multiple EC2 instances are available. So basically on the load balancer level, there will be some kind of listener will be running on the AWS load balancer. So basically like this listener role, like for example, we have been configured with the 80 ports. So basically what will happen when user trying to connect with load balancer on with the 80 port, it will be validate the listener room and it will be forward the traffic to the consent target group. So basically here, like we have been configured that the routing algorithm, either round robin or wait. So based on that, it will be forward the traffic to each resource. So followed by like in case if we have another target group. So there also it's running on that another three EC2 instance. So what we can do, we can configure that another listener rule with a different port. For example, we have been configured the HTTPS port for that another target group. So what will happen on the load balancer level? Basically, when user trying to access the load balancer using the HTTPS port, it will be like validate the listener rule and it will be forward the traffic to the target group one. So this is the way generally like load balancer will work it on that like in the real environment that if you can see on the AWS apart from AWS and Azure also providing the load balancer and the Google Cloud and VMware Cloud everywhere that the load balancer concept remaining same that like the name of the configuration only slightly different. So that's all about the today introduction of the AWS application load balancer. So in the next session, we will see it about that how we can configure the AWS load balancer application load balancer on the console. So thanks for watching my channel. And if you are enjoying my video, just do that subscribe my channel and like my video so that it will be encourage me to do more videos like that. So we'll see you in the upcoming session.